Whereas when people are compliant and doing what they're told because somebody else told them, or because society told us as women, or because our bosses, or because we're not allowed to laugh in the hotel, then we become bored. And boredom, we know, has also very negative consequences in terms of health, in terms of our productivity, and of course in terms of our creativity, which was one of the things we were mostly interested in. So this is boredom. So our research was we had 508 dyads in two advertising firms in South China. Actually, my Greek colleague and I were sort of, would Chinese do creative deviance? Are you sure this is, because we knew that Greeks and Israelis, laid on us. We know a lot about deviant behaviors, but in China, we weren't sure we would get good results, but we were sure we could collect the data because people are more compliant and would fill the data, which they wouldn't in Israel in 3 points of time. We collected data in 3 points of time, and we developed a new scale for leaders' playfulness, and we looked at the time pressure, and I won't bore you with this, but I will say that our results actually confirm the model that we have thought of, that when people perceive their managers as being playful, but when these managers have time, okay, when there's less time pressure, they will be high on creative deviance, high on thriving, and high on creativity. When the leaders are not perceived as playful, and when they have time pressure, of course, people will be more compliant. And then in time 3, they will be border, and they will perform what they're expected to perform. These are just a few associations about how you can play. This is my husband riding his bikes, but this is actually a peculiar picture that it's 2 different bikes that were shot in a race, but somebody caught them exactly at the same time. These are my older kids that went traveling together in Georgia in northern Europe, and were very playful about themselves and put a camera to take photos of themselves. So how can we signal playfulness to ourselves? How can we signal playfulness to others? How can managers use play in day-to-day? How can we make it more legitimate to be playful about who we are, about our identities, about our ideas? What happens when we need accuracy and order? Does this work good with play? Can we play with accuracy? If we're accountants, is it good to play? Or is it only good to play when we still don't have answers to this? These are the type of, do we need a fit between the task and between what we're trying to gain in terms of play? And how can we hold this paradox that we all need to be productive under time pressure, and we still want to be creative and be playful about the way that we look at life? This is the idea of gender play we talked about in one of the best playgrounds in Japan that was ever designed. Looks amazing. I would love to play there. So how can leaders, how can men and women walk the rope between creativity, between deviant behavior, between compliance, and still, make, enjoy what we're doing? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to invite, just sorry.
The human life cycle, you're a baby, you go to preschool, then you go to middle school, high school, and so on. So, who do you think is most creative from a baby to an adult? A baby, right? We all agree, a baby. And then, do you agree, as that baby, the same baby moves on to junior school, and then to middle school, and then to college, and then to university? So, do you know do you have an opinion about what happens to the creativity? It goes down. So really, as we grow older, we unlearn to be creative. So we all born very creative, but we unlearn the whole process. And so how can we maintain it? So look at the baby when it sees a new thing. A little child sees a paper for the first time. It's just like a scientist goes, grabs the paper, folds it, does it make any sound, bangs it on the floor, does it make any sound? Okay. Is it edible? Then puts the paper in his mouth, crunch, crunch, not so good. Then can it be used like a toy? Can I use it like a ball? Tries throwing it, dragging it on the floor. So actually comes to a conclusion about what the whole thing is by using really all the senses. But as we grow up, so what happens to us? Oh, already seen that. So, even as we walking by, what? Another talk on creativity, been there, done that. Let me go ahead. I think we just lose the sense of wonderment and awe, which is, which is what is really detrimental to creativity. So we don't have to do really fancy stuff to be creative. All want to be creative because we know that's what we are meant to be. So it's just by being curious about things. It's just by using our senses in all that we do. So you look at a new thing, you taste it, you smell it, and you may not like it, but it's something new that you've done. So so I feel creativity is, like Ronit said, so I corroborate, creativity is all about being playful and not taking ourselves too seriously. And I'm an adult, so I need to be all this serious person. I need to dress in a certain way. I need to talk in a certain way. I need to behave in a certain way, which really is it's the death knell, so to say, of creativity. And also, I think also sometimes the experiences that we have as we grow up. So can you imagine this first grader, uh, in a in the art class in school, and the teacher says, "All right, let's all draw an aeroplane." And there you go. And I haven't drawn an aeroplane ever, so I'm trying to. And there is this girl sitting next to me who's doing this, who's furiously drawing and looks like a wonderful thing. So when I peep in to see if I can get inspired, the teacher says, no copying. Please do your own work. And okay, I don't know what this is. All I know is that the plane is a little speck in the sky. That's all that I know of what a plane is. And she's asking me to draw. So I do something out of my imagination and shaking hands and very nervous, hand over that paper to the teacher. And then what does this teacher do? She says, "Ha! Let me show you, class, how you should never draw an aeroplane." And out comes the paper that I have drawn. And says, "This is what an aeroplane never looks like." So what did it do to me? I never, drawing is my biggest fear. Till I did some work on it and started drawing, and that's a whole different other story. So the point also is to be, as adults, for us, to be compassionate or to be understanding of little children who are learning to be creative and to appreciate, and for us to become more like little children. And I think that's the key to creativity, and all of us can do it. So thank you so much. Sorry. If there's any questions to her, me.
Yes, stay with me. Yeah.
I
You
design
games.
I gifts. I design gifts. Okay. So I have a lot of women who are not educated. They come from a family where they work at home, come to us, work, go back, work. Right? They're cooking for the family and everything. For them, coming to us is absolutely a means of getting that money which they get in the whole day. And there is no education level. Like when you said playfulness, if I think of taking them out somewhere, maybe once in a month or something, they will not go because as a woman in India, they have come for a workplace. They are answerable at home even to go out. So how can we create some playful atmosphere for them inside when they are not educated? They are grown up. They are maybe older than me also.
I think play has nothing to do with education and with your economy level.
I
think
understand that.
play, maybe even the opposite. And I think if I were you,
Yes.
I would talk to these women and I would think with them, how could we make the work atmosphere more playful? What would you like to do that would make you feel that you can do things in a different, can we have a certain day in which we change roles and we do funny things? Or can we You don't have to go out to be playful. Kids are sometimes stuck in their rooms for hours, and they are so playful about it. And just the way that they treat their work, even sometimes, like today, we might be producing instead of making bags, we might call these bags something else and think about them in a different manner. We might imagine the women who are going to wear these bags, so they're already in a mind frame that's different. So if I tell them, let's think about each of one of you can actually play now the woman who's going to wear the bag, and just do a walk here of these different prototype of women that are going to get the bags that you're making. I think if I were them, I would think differently about the bag that I'm making once I can imagine a man or a woman that's going to, they can, wear different figures and do the. So I think play is here. It's a mindset. Play actually, when we play, we do exactly the same actions that we do when we don't play. So play. That's why it's for us as researchers, it's really difficult to define what play is. Sometimes if we give people the same task and we tell them this is a game in the laboratory, we're asking you to do this game and invent a. If we tell them this is work, we're asking you to do this and that, we see that they're more creative when we tell them this is a game. So it's not that they do different actions, they think differently about their work. Okay? Yeah. It's a good question. Thanks.
It's a new concept for us altogether. We are always so concentrating on getting the work done. This is the agenda of today, and then we are struggling to get it done. They are also under pressure. So I think it's a
Yeah.
great
And
thought.
people get sick from getting
Yes.
the work done. Yeah. Playful about it. What does it
In some of the organizations, especially with the guys at the top, I always say the guys at the top are the most fossil guys.
Fossil?
Fossil.
Yeah.
Because they are pregnant with their own ideas.
Yes.
They seldom hear the others.
Yes.
Right. So what normally we in one of the companies we did this is that we said whenever the idea comes, give a buzz.
Okay.
Now that CEO got about 100 ideas in the whole night. So people buzzed him. And he said, they made my life miserable. I said, how many creative people you killed in your organization in the last 6 months? If I was you, I'll call them personally and say thank you. Someone if he calls you at 2 o'clock and says, I have an idea, you jolly well get up and appreciate that idea. That's playfulness. You don't work because of economic necessity. You work because you love to work. Our problem is that we think our survival mode is important. So if you're in survival, when will you have abundance?